Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm hoping we fixed it.
You might want to type in chat and see what they say.
Yes. Can you see and hear me? Yes, yes.
It's working. Fantastic.
Yes, all right. Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. Thanks to Mitty for saying, go get Mark. You know, when he goes to the beach, how am I going to do this? Oh, thank goodness. Yay! I want you to hear me more than see me. So, just wanted to say again, we stand with Ukraine. We want this war over. And it's so good to see all of you. What a busy week I had this week. I went, and Tuesday we had our COVID shot. It was pretty easy, I have to say. I didn't even feel sick. The arm got just a little sore, a little bit red, but it was all good. And the shot didn't even hurt. I was teasing her that I was going to scream if it hurt. And she said, okay, you can scream now. And I said, I can't scream if it doesn't even hurt. She said, you sound angry about that. So anyway, then I had my hair cut. And then I went to the dentist for my semi-annual. Everything good. Looks like I'm going to hold on to these old gals, and as long as I hold on. So it's a busy week, but a good week. So it is so good to see all of you. I was so frustrated. I tell you, I thought, that's it. I'm done. It's not working. So, but thank you for hanging in here with me. I loved seeing Sonia first thing in, and it was so great. You know, I become very attached to everyone, and there's lots of things that I think about y'all. So it's so good. I heard from Marsha Hahn today, and that was really nice. So, I mean, yesterday, I guess, or she wrote it on the group site, and I saw it. So, y'all mean a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And I understand life gets in the way, and there are new channels to explore. So never, ever feel bad about that. It's very bright in this window today. So it is so good to see you. And and I was talking to Sonia. I listened to a really good audiobook today. And how did I and why did I listen to a really good audiobook? Because I've been a busy girl. I'll get ready and show you. And let me pull this away for right now. But I got the last row done on my Sparrow's quilt. I am so excited. I love this little guy. And there we go. I love that quilt. So now all the rows, all 28 birds are there. And I just wanted to tell you, I ordered 4 yards of the background. But honest to goodness, I thought I had plenty, so I made a practice block and all of that. And I also made a few mistakes in cutting that I had to go back and change. But at the very end, the last 2 uprights on the birds, there's 3 of the upright sashings, I had to piece with scraps. So never throw away your scraps when you're working on a quilt. The problem wasn't being able to afford another yard of fabric, because it was only $4.99 from Marshall Dry Goods, but the shipping is $7.95. So by the time you add that up, it goes against my frugal meter. So it wouldn't pass frugal muster. So I just took the scraps and I sewed them together, and it worked. And you know what? When I look at that, to me, that's something to be proud of. That, you know, it makes me happy that I'm frugal. It makes me happy to be careful. There are so many things out there that we want and need to do. And oh, I made a mistake when I told y'all about Mark and the stock market. His company retirement program lost $11,000 because of the whole tariff stock market plunging. We're not real big fans. So we hope that it might recover some, but all of you who have these retirements, that part of them or all of them are hooked into the stock market, we don't need somebody playing around and manipulating the stocks. So that, you know, things like that worry us. And you know what it's like when you are, let me get some lotion, my hands are very dry. But you know what it's like when you're on a fixed income. And it's like, don't mess with my money. Especially, I've worked hard for years and years to get it. And so, you know what I mean. But otherwise, oops. Yep, that's lotion. I must have accidentally dumped it on the table. So, anyway, but, yeah. I have too much all of a sudden. Let me clean that up. But anyway, so, you know, we worry about things like that. You know, what can you do? So, I've got so many fun things. I'm going to talk about the Sparrow Quilt and what's left before I put it on the frame. And then I've got some more Dorset button stuff I wanted to show you. Mark made me something that really helps making Dorset buttons. You're going to want to see this. And it's free to make. If you have glue and maybe a little hand saw or just some good sandpaper or files, I will show you that. Then I'm going to show you how I made the branches for the border. Wait till I show you the border and how I made the little cherries. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun with this quilt. And I have to say this, when I knew that the other quilt was not doing what I hoped it would do, and I spent the money to make a new one, best decision. As frugal as I am, I know when it's a good thing. And also, like I told Mark, if I don't make it right away, I won't make it. And I knew that I loved this little quilt. So wait till you see what I'm going to jazz it up with. Then I have been putting a new roof on a birdhouse. And I can't wait to show you that. So I think, since I'm so close to being done with my English paper piecing project, I asked Mark if he could help me get the printer set up to print out the templates for the new Ruby Lane English paper piecing. And so I can't wait to show you that setup, but I can't touch it until I finish the last block of the English paper piecing. So I've got to tell you, not watching news on TV is having wonderful benefits because I'm able to stay sane, but I'm getting so much stuff done. So let's get right into this. Oh, another thing to tell you is the pollen here is tremendous. I meant to get outside and try to take some pictures. I've been having to use my asthma inhaler because it gets to me. Just going out to get in the car to go somewhere to come back, it's like, But what I've been doing is trying to exercise inside the house. And I have elliptical trainer, but little things like walking on the house. If I have to go get something, I turn it into a little exercise. Pick up my step, do a little light jog, trying to bend and stretch before I go to bed, when I get up, and try to stretch and keep my neck flexed, all that helps. So if you're like me and you can't go outside to walk, think of what you can do inside the house. And AARP also has some good videos and things about exercising. So I just wanted to tell you that. Oh, and lengthening my stride. Sometimes as we age, we shorten our stride because our balance gets a little wonkier. So work on that balance, lengthen your stride. That helps a lot. All right, so then, like, I try to make sure to do things like put my shorts on without sitting down so that I keep exercising my balance. So little things that I find I do. But if you have any good, no sound, wait a minute, no, I think I went back. Oh, I went back, okay. So, oh, Marcia's here. Yeah, that poor Warren Buffett, let me tell you. So, he said not to freak out, huh? We'll see. But anyway, as long as no one made money over the manipulation period, but that's another thing. All right, so, yes.
How you doing?
Fine.
All
thank
working.
you.
Okay.
All working. He takes good care
I have
of
to go
me.
look at the dryer. We got a brought the dryer.
We got to. Oh no, not.
Making a weird noise.
Oh.
Turned it on and it's clunk.
Well, looks like our reasonably new dryer is making weird noises. So Mark's got his hands full today. Poor guy. It's like the moment he retired, everything in the house decided to start acting up. So he's doing major repair everywhere. So this is going to be Ruby Lane. Now, I was a little disappointed. It's only 2 blocks. And I liked the last one I did because there were so many blocks to get used to. But I've decided with this one, I'm just going to do the small size. You can do all the way up to Queen or King, I believe. But this comes from the Yellow Rose Quilt Shop in Texas, Quilt Company. Yellow Rose Quilt Company in Texas. And they're very reasonable. And so then what I did is we bought and made sure we had new cardstock and enough printer ink, and I downloaded all of the templates because that's what you do when you do English paper piecing. Some people use paper, but I like that nice cardstock crispness because it makes it very easy to get perfectly sized pieces. So I really like this. It also, this one's interesting. If you do the sashing, which I'm doing on mine upstairs, it shows you by blue printing. See the blue printing? Betty is here? Did somebody say Betty is here? Because I hope so. Crafty Pat is here. I'm going to have to see all who's here. This is great. Mayor, Mitty, it's wonderful. So this one, it has blue printing on the side of the template that you would not glue the fabric down. So that way when you make your blocks, you can sew them by machine to the sashing. Not a bad idea, so keep that in mind. But when I start this, I will definitely keep you posted and show you as I go. But I've already got the fabric for that one. The fabric for this is what I had picked out for the Alaska quilt at first before I decided to switch it over. So, and I need y'all to put out good thoughts about our Lisa on here, because I sent her a message or an email and I haven't gotten a response. So she's the one person I haven't heard from yet. But be thinking about her. It is a beautiful day. I didn't see the gorgeous moon. I'll have to check it. Let me see all who is here. And I'm going to message our Monkey Mary about the Ruby Lane quilt. I did see a Betty here. So Sonia was the first person here, then Laura R., Mitty, and Mary. Oh, it's so good seeing all of you. Oh, this is wonderful. And thank you for your patience. This program, I love this new program, but it's very sensitive. And when it first said no sound, I went to the sound thing to make sure that my computer would allow the OBS system to use the sound, and then it froze everything. There's our Betty Meisner. Oh, how wonderful. I bet you Betty Meisner's property is gorgeous because she and her husband have gardened it to perfection. So it's so good to see her. Charlene Lawson is here. There's our Kathy Klein. Don't you love those sparrows? And I have the new measurements. If you get the sparrow pattern, you can write me and I will tell you how I size the block down. But you might like it the bigger size. It makes a good size quilt with the bigger blocks. So Kathy Klein. Oh, this is, oh, well, goodness gracious. Oh, I think you're right, Mary. You have to put in a big order, and you know how frugal I am. So, isn't that the truth, Miss Mitty? We have to be careful. I'm going to freak. Anybody that likes this much chaos freaks me out. But, oh, it's so good to see all of you. I hope I haven't missed any of you. Mayor is here. Sit and be fit. Exactly. There's some great good exercises. And every little bit helps. Everything helps. So, oh, this is wonderful to see. And Crafty Pat, yay. And your grandson's visiting. Crafty Pat's the best grandma. Oh my gosh, if I could come back as a grandchild, she'd be my grandma. So that's wonderful, sweetie. Oh, good. So Marcia got to go out with her Sunday, and that's wonderful. Oh, well, yep, next Sunday is Easter. And I think I might have a show in the evening. My daughter would like us to come over for a potluck. And I think we probably will do that. And so maybe I'll do an evening show. I don't know what y'all are planning on. Oh, another thing, too, that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I watched my last show. I had been too busy to watch them lately. I was very bothered by the number of commercials. And I still haven't, I'm at $95, so I'm not making enough. They haven't even paid me yet, because you have to get to 100. And I'm looking, thinking, that $100 is over 4 or 5 months. 5 months? I don't know if I don't think it's worth it for the interruptions to our being together on here. It is the best job, Pat. So I'm thinking about, I've let them kind of do what they wanted with commercials in a moderate range, not a lot, not little. I think I'm going to go back to the little. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to cancel it again. I told Mark, I'd rather do, if somebody wants to, they call it buy me a cup of coffee, then heck with that, maybe that'll be it. But I'm really frustrated. Oh, Debbie just wrote, I just walked Chloe, her sweet Chloe. She's like a yellow lab, but she's almost white. She sent picture from the Virginia Quilt Museum. Oh, wow. So, that'll be cool. I will definitely go to my email and check that. So, but anyway, I'm just saying I was very offended at how many commercials are breaking up. And this is our meeting. This is our time to chat. So, if I could just have them monetize it after we have our live chat, maybe that's better. But I'm going to cut it. I forgot to do it before this one. and I'm going to cut it down because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it, and I want to apologize. So, anyway, you know, it's, I hate to turn away money. I've been doing this for 7 years now, but, you know, I'm getting tired. Okay, yes, I've heard about, have y'all been hearing that there's been some flooding places and stuff? So, okay, I'm trying to think of which, I've written an agenda, but I'm a little spacey after the computer acted up earlier. So, let's see. All right, I'm going to do something a wee bit different. I'm going to go straight to our narrow strip seascape. I have finished this puppy, and here it is. And of course, anytime I do something, I have an interesting story about it. I think that's just my life. And so there it is. I have all the seagrasses done. I've done some aging to the dock. I've put the ropes on. And I have a nice little friend here, my blue heron. So I'm going to take this down, and so I can show you up close and personal. Let me get this out of the way. Whoops. I had someone at the retreat that I went to back in March. I had someone fascinated with that rolling design wall, and I said, yeah, it's just a cheap clothing rack, and I made a flannel pillowcase to pull over it, and that thing has been wonderful. All right, so here is, I'm going to show you this way first. Here is the narrow strip seascape, and here is what I've been working on this week. I did the seagrasses by hand. Then by machine, I went in and did some thread sketching and aged the dock. And then, let me show you closer. I love my little blue heron. Here is the great blue heron. Now, I had an interesting thing happen. Interesting things always happen to me, and I use it on the show. You see the middle dock board looks a little different, but this one right here. This morning, I was putting the finishing touches on the aging of the dock. It looked too pristine, so I set up my machine to do thread painting and aged it. Then I decided I wanted it nice and flat from all the stuff I had done to it this week. So I'm ironing it, and it's looking really flat, and I've got my hot little iron on a hot setting, and I'm just going to town. Then all of a sudden, this middle row started shrinking up, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that. And what happened is, that was upholstery fabric that I put on that. Remember I used the upholstery? Oh, thank you, Laura. That was upholstery fabric I used on the dock, and it must have been 100% polyester. And I'm ironing, and it starts shrinking, and I'm like, no, no, no. I had to cut it off. It was hard. You could smell it. I smelled it then. It was like hard plastic. So I had to cut it off, cut a new piece of fabric, and this time I went with a different fabric, sew it back on over where the melted piece had been, and then aged it in place. But so surprising. I mean, it cracked me up. I was like, here we go. But this is what I love doing. I don't love just showing you perfection. Yeah, there you go, Mary. I I don't specialize in perfection. I specialize in creativity and just do it, make it happen. And so it's always a story to tell. All right, so now what I'm going to do, thank you for the comment on the reflections. I loved using the gold lame. So now I'm going to bring the detail camera over, and let's hope it doesn't act up, and it allows me to show you some detail. Okay, so let's see. Come on, get that cursor over. Oh, there. Okay, here we go. All right, so here it is. This is the one that shriveled up. I mean, it really just pulled up, and I was like, no, but it turned into hard plastic. And here, so I put the rope on this week, and it was hard. It was hard to make it, like I couldn't just have it everywhere. To try to make it look like it went around things and behind stuff, it was hard. It gave me challenge. Then I had already put the hand embroidered seagrass over here, and so I had to try to run it under that because the seagrass would be on top, and any chance that I can show 3-dimension is a good thing. So I put it under there and then tried to kind of glue everything in place so it wouldn't move too much. Then I had dyed it with tea, so it gave it an old look. Then I took a fine line permanent marker and kind of grunged it up, okay? Just kind of went over it, grunged it up, tried to blend in some of the ends. Then I just took and dropped my feed dogs and did some thread sketching on what's supposed to be the individual planks of the dock because they were too fresh looking. Then I put some dark blue thread in and kind of tried to give this just look too still at the end of the dock compared to everything else I had done. So I did, and then I stopped myself from doing more because I've got to quilt this. So I need to leave myself something to do with the quilting. And this is where I honestly think that if I had put a backing on it at first, all of this sewing these nice fine lines, it would be quilted. But I knew I was probably going to do these by hand, and I didn't want this to show through the back. So that's why I kind of made the decisions that I did. But I'm going to put a backing and some batting, and then what I'm going to do is go along and give the water some movement. And then I will go around each of my birds here and kind of give a little movement in the sky. And then up here with my tree, by the time I have batting and stuff, I can give a little definition to the leaves. And I will go around my heron. Now let me show you my heron. Y'all might think, oh, I bet you Deb did that heron. No, I didn't. I'm learning to do things the easy way. So what I did is I found my fabric that I can print, and once you iron it, the colors become color fast once you iron it real good. And this is a cotton that comes on a paper, so it goes through the printer easily, and I think the fabric is treated so that it holds onto the color. But let's say you don't have some of this and you want to do this, then take and cut out a piece of freezer paper the size of a normal piece of copy paper, iron the freezer paper on the back of it, and you can just run regular fabric through the printer and then just press it good. And I don't normally wash my art quilts, so I don't have to worry if it's going to hold up when it's washed. What I ended up doing is I ended up printing this out in 4 sizes, and my other one, it must have fallen. I couldn't find it today, but I found these. And so what I did is I printed this out in 4 different sizes. That way, once I'd printed it out, I could test it and see which one I liked. I ended up using the biggest one. Then I took this and stitched it onto, what do you call it? When you're doing machine embroidery, you have something that keeps the fabric nice and sturdy. And so I did that. I put a stabilizer. I put it on a stabilizer. And then, oh, that's a good idea, Mary. And so I put it on stabilizer and then just started doing thread painting. Because when I printed it, it just wasn't quite as bright as I wanted. And I wanted some texture for the feathers. So I put it on a stabilizer so I could hold it good and stitch all around. And I bumped up the color on the bill and the legs. And I made a stitched eye. I darkened some of the colors here and there. Then I did the a tiny zigzag to do the feathers. And before I was done, I took a very fine line permanent marker and I have gone around the edge of him. He didn't stand out quite enough. And I got some highlights and did some definitions. And I even came back this morning and kind of sewed a little thing around his legs where they were going into the water. But then by hand, I did these 2 black feathers that were on the back of the head. They were longer in the original picture. And then there were a bunch of white feathers here. I did those by hand last night with floss. So, and now he's sewn on by hand. Let me see. You can't even see. I sewed him on by hand, but my stitches must have gone just in the middle. And so there he is. And also I wanted to show you that this seagrass goes behind this one. These are all good tricks to try to make it look three-dimensional, make it look more realistic. Just go back and forth, in front, behind, whatever, and really add that realism. So I am now finished with this except for quilting it. And I may take my ink tints. Oh, I just saw a place where it's coming loose. I've got to remember that. Let me put a pin there if you don't mind. I always put pins where there's a mistake because so often this little thing didn't get caught. So I just need to go back and stitch it again. But I'll put a little safety pin because I'll forget where it is. So if I put a little safety pin, that tells me go back and give that a little attention. And I can just do a little stitching by hand. But when I quilt, I'm going to do a little area in the sky. I'm going to go around my birds because when I go around these birds, it'll make them puff out, give that a little dimension. And I may go back, if this is too bright for the rest of the quilt, I may go back and dull it down with some ink tints. I will see once it's fully done. And I might like to take some orange ink tints or yellow and give just a light touch of color as if the sunset is affecting this wood. So, oh yeah, Mary sent us a picture. We have her picture. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, no problem. Hi, sweetie. So, yeah, the heron is trickier, but I tell you what, when you can print it out with your regular inkjet printer onto fabric and then just embellish, it makes the job easier. So, okay, so this is done. Now what I'm going to do is come back to the main camera so I can show you. And like I said, I reached that point. I'm trying to find my cursor. I hate when the cursor disappears. I'm really trying. Oh, there it is. So, so many things around here. But, I forgot what I was just saying. But, oh, I love it when I fall in love with a piece because it is such a joy to work on something that you love. And I think this was an exercise in learning how to use strips and color and see something a little different. But I love it every bit as much as if it were just a regular art quilt. And so now what I'm going to do is quilt it and then frame it. I'll show you that next week. But I am very pleased with this. This was a success. So I really, really love it. Okay, so that is that. And I'm glad that I finally got busy and handled that. And anybody, do y'all like these? Does anyone like these? Those colors are pretty great, aren't they? You can't go wrong with sunset. Anybody like these? I can put these in a little envelope and mail them to you for just a stamp. So if you would like your copy, your very own blue heron, let me know. I'll write your name down and mail them to you. So, okay. And then if I find the little one, that would be nice too. But I like, since I knew I would mess up a whole sheet of that stuff, I thought, make it in different sizes and then that way I'll have it. So, all right. So now, okay, it says, show you. Okay, Laura R. Got her. And I'm pretty sure I have your address, Laura R. If I don't have your address, then our time to quilt at twc.com. Don't give me your address on here, just email it to me. Mary, would you like the other one? Or I can send both of them to Laura. You decide. But these are all ready to use. I'm going to go ahead and iron it to make sure it's set before it goes in the mail. Okay? All right, great. So I'll send those out to Laura. Laura, if you think I might not have your address, if I've never mailed anything to you, then use that email and send me your address. All right, so I'll make sure. I just want to make sure these are set. And still, don't purposely put water on them. You don't tempt fate. Mary doesn't need one. Okay. All right, great. Well, this is fun. I was thinking, I hate wasting something, and I know I'm not going to use it anytime soon, and I thought, I hate to just throw it in the trash if I can mail it to somebody. So I'll send both of these to Laura. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you this birdhouse. I got some major tools for this one. So, okay. All right. Well, let me tell you the story of the birdhouse. Some years ago, probably 15, 17, 18 years ago, Park Seed Company had these birdhouses for $14, and I bought 2 of them. Loved them. The bottom part is a plastic, and the top finial is plastic, but the roof wasn't. The roof was wood and kind of very simply made, and it rotted and fell in. So for a couple of years, it's right in my front flower bed, and it at one point matched the house, and so it just sat with a finial and the house and no roof. And I would mention, I really would like to make a roof for that house. And Mark was like, he was working. Oh, I got too much stuff going on. So I just was patient, very patient. Well, now he's retired. So I said, remember a couple years ago when I ordered a pack of jumbo craft sticks so that I could put a new roof on this house? I said, if you will make me a base, and I said, it's got 6 sides, so if you're gonna have to measure and you'll have like triangles, but if you make me a base, then I'll put the popsicle sticks on it and have a new birdhouse. He kept saying, just buy one, just buy one. Well, I would go and look for birdhouses, and this one's about 18 inches tall, and it was going to be like $150 and up. They're very trendy, and to try to get a decent one, it's very expensive. So I finally said a few weeks ago, I really, really want to put a roof on that house. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do. He didn't want to drag out all of his tools. So he made it, and he said, well, it's not really exactly right. And it had like gaps in between the sides. I said, not a problem. I promise you, I can handle it. So I was thrilled. I mean, I was just thrilled that he had to manage a way to install this roof. I forgot that the finial made it more difficult. So he had to cut a round part to put under the finial to hold the finial. So it was more complicated than I thought, because I always go, oh, no problem, right? So he gave it to me like this. In the gaps here, I put a bunch of hot glue, and then I hot glued these popsicle sticks over them. And I've been working on it this week. And for a couple days, I covered one side of it. And then, whoops, that's right, I don't have to use that camera anymore. I'll use my close-up. Okay, and it's going to need to be painted. I'm going to take and fill in all the gaps with like a silicone sealer or hot glue or something. Then I'm going to put a Zinsser, which is a really heavy-duty primer, exterior primer on it. And then I'm going to put several good coats of paint. And then it'll be ready to go outside. But I've been having fun trying to make a shingle roof, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good, So now I'm going to show you how I did that, because I spent a good number of hours this week on this. So let me get my cameras lined up, and let's see. Well, I'll probably miss the baby birdies this time, but I'll get them by next year. Okay, come on, cursor. This is the curse of the bouncing cursor. Okay, here we are. Detail webcam. All right, so now let me pull this over. All right, here we go. All right, so let me get this way. Okay, so he gave me this tool because I said I need some kind of cutter. Whoops, not quite in screen. I need a cutter to cut. I need a cutter to cut the popsicle sticks. So look at what. Look, it's got a razor blade, and he said it's very sharp. Please do not cut your razor blade with that razor blade. So I'm very, very careful with that. I just realized right now that it has measuring on here. It has inches. So I've been trying to eyeball how long to cut my little popsicle sticks, and the whole time, why does that look so? It looks so upside down. It's not supposed to be. Well, that won't work. I don't want to make y'all ill. Aha! Give the girl a little time. She can fix it. All right, now let me see. Gotta loosen this up. Okay. All right. So Then I have pliers. I have a razor knife when sometimes I need to kind of shave the popsicle stick down. And here are my popsicle sticks. Now, being who I am, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's supposed to be about enjoyment, you can see sometimes I just put little slivers in to fill up the gap. Because once it's painted, who's going to notice? And if somebody traipses through my flower bed to see if this is good enough, I'm going to punch them anyway. So, alright, so the first thing I do is I bring this in here. This is going to be a new row on the bottom. And because this didn't fit perfectly, I've been dropping these down. That way too it'll shed rain off instead of going inside. Because this is all plastic. Now I have to try to make this as waterproof as possible. Alright, so I just come in here and I pick a place to cut this. Now I squeeze really hard, but then I have to crack it up like this. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now I have my, let me see, I'm going to try to bring this in a little bit closer. This is where I get in trouble because I want to get it just right and then I can mess it up sometimes. But like you close other things, close that sharp razor. So now I take this. Well, I've got to use it again anyway. Now, this one, it can slip under this popsicle stick, so I don't have to worry about trimming this side. I only have to trim that inside side. So, I take it like this. Well, you know what, too? Check and see if the popsicle stick already has a slight warp to it, because, yeah, put it so that the rounded side faces out, so because it'll just continue to warp if you put it the other way. So this looks pretty good. Okay, now I need to angle in this side, so I very carefully do a little angle cut. So now, and you know what I did forget to bring down? I have a really strong emery board upstairs. And so what I would do, if I didn't quite cut it straight, I have this pack of like forever emery boards that I can use. But now this looks pretty good. So then I take good old tacky glue and put on here. And I like this because when you put it into place it sticks. Now I could use wood glue, some kind of Gorilla Glue or something like this. But see, it's really pretty simple. And then I come back, I need to cut another one. And so I squeeze it tight, which scores it. And then I just clip it like this. Now this one, I'm frugal. So this one I will save, and for nearer the top, when I can use shorter pieces, I will trim this very carefully. This has a lip, and as long as I keep my finger under this lip, I won't get cut. But I will trim this off like this. Trim it to like that half round shape. And like I say, the fact that it's going to be pretty heavily painted means nobody will see that it's not exactly perfectly round as the others. So I do this, then I take my emery and smooth it off, and I save this for up top. Alright, so now here is this one. This one will go here. So I need to, since this is, let me see how I can, there's got to, okay. Alright, this, if you notice, this narrows into a point, so that's why I have to take off and angle the upper part. So I leave the nice round part, because this is supposed to look like little wooden shingles. And so you just go in and say, okay, is that enough? Yep, that looks good. So I put some more glue on it and glue it into place, trying to keep it even with the bottom. Okay. And I'll do just one more, but I just keep working my way up and trimming them and filling in the gap if needed. But this, I just squeeze down and then tilt it, because it cuts through part of it, but it doesn't cut through all of it. All right, another trimming the angle here. But I love showing you. I told Mark, I said, you don't know how happy making this makes me, because anybody can go buy one, but it's such a fun challenge to make this one work. And where the plastic is split along these seams, I filled them in with hot glue. I might go over them with some. Okay, that's looking good. So after you do it a while, you kind of realize how much you have to taper in the top of that popsicle stick. But I'm going to make sure this is sealed to the weather, and I'm glad I put these over, because now it gives a place to tuck in as I do these edges. And I could have done a better job up here with that, but I'll worry about that later. I just wanted to get busy on it. So now let's see. Let me twist this around just a little bit more. Okay, so now I'll put my things away real fast here. But that I love showing you anything I do, and I love the spirit of fixing it, reusing it. Don't just throw it away when half of it's still good. How can you make do? But those are my big girl toys, and it made my hands pretty sore. So I worked on it 3 separate days to do the 4 sides, because my hands would get to the point where I'm done. And I didn't blame them. All right, well, you know what? Since my camera, I love challenges. This is what I'm going to do now. I want to show you, since the camera's right here and we can enjoy this, I'm going to show you the work I did on this border. So as I told you last week, I measured the center of the Sparrow quilt, both horizontally and vertically, and wrote those down. When you get ready to put a border on a quilt, you measure along the center. That's the truest side. Towards each end of the quilt or each side of the quilt, the measurement can get a little bit wonky. So you measure down the middle, then you cut it, and I put the width of this is 6 inches. So I made an extra 6 inches on each end of the border, so I can, if I want to, I can miter these. Now, you might say, well, Deb, you put this stuff on here. How are you going to miter it? Well, I'll see what that does when I come to it. All I have to do is take this up, and then I can, once I've mitered it, I can tack it to go around the corner. So I'm not worried. So I put all the leaves on, and when the leaf I thought I was going to come all the way to here and then fish out the freezer paper, but I found it was better if I worked on the side, tear out the freezer paper so it's nice and soft. Now I don't get out every little bit. There may be a little bit left in. I'm not worried. But I first hand embroidered down the branch, then I hand embroidered down the leaves. Now when I get ready to quilt this, I'm going to quilt the leaf pattern with the veining in it. Or maybe I'll get green thread and sew it on earlier. But then I decided, when I knew that I had a lot of red was my favorite extra color in this quilt. When I had plenty of red left over, I thought cherries. I love cherries. These are the shape of cherry leaves, and here are the cherries. Now, if you notice, my cherries are three-dimensional. Well, almost. Maybe 2 3/4 dimensional, 2.5. And I did hand embroidery on the stems with, I think, 3 strands, and I did the stem stitch, which you come up in the middle of the thread before, so it's nice and thick with my little stems. And so I did these. Now, the stems are going to go each way, but that's because I want to make sure there are enough cherries to give good color and not give too much. So now what I'm going to show you is how I sew those cherries on and how I stuff them. Let me find, I'm trying to find a needle here. I never think about, Deb, why don't you go ahead and thread the needle before you get ready to show them? I always forget that part. So here I'm using a good old silk thread, and because I love doing that with anytime I do applique, the threads just disappear into the fabric. Now let me thread this needle. Talk about pressure. Whoop. Let's try it again. This is a Superior Threads silk thread. I normally use YLI, and I'm very fond of YLI. But this was the first nice red spool I came to, so I grabbed it. And it's a good thing if you have, let me see, if you have either beeswax or some kind of thread heaven, a silicone thread conditioner, because it's hard on these threads, especially when you're trying to sew around freezer paper. So I'm making the knot on my thread here. Alright, now I like to stuff the top of the cherry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up from behind and come right in behind there, because I don't want a knot showing or making an indentation or anything. And so I'm going to leave this part open. I'm going to come on around. It's got the freezer paper in it, so I know I have to take that off too. But the goal here is to try to make as invisible a stitch as possible. Now, I don't worry myself if it doesn't, but it is a little bit of personal pride if I can do some pretty invisible stitching around this. So the main thing is you go down under the fabric, then you come up a little bit away and just grab the little edge of that cherry. You want to grab enough that it's going to be solid, but not so much that it shows the thread itself. And you're just going to go around, and let me keep going around. Now, you know I made these cherries. I was supposed to show you how I made them. I used freezer paper that I ironed onto the back, the shiny side against the back of the red for the cherries. And then I make sure I've got at least 1/8 of an inch of a seam allowance. I usually don't do much more than that. And I use a glue stick to glue the little edge down. See, here is what that looks like. I've gone around with the glue stick and glued it down. Then I put a spot of tacky glue to hold it on the fabric, and that way I don't have to worry about sticking pins in my hands taking pins out of the way, everything is where it should be. I just have a needle and thread and I stitch it down. This is so enjoyable, especially in the evenings. This to me is fun. And for some of you who don't like hand sewing, I understand you don't think it's fun, but for me, this is what I enjoy. Nothing better than cuddling up at night on the couch with your hand sewing and turning on a good movie. So, oh, now the one thing you have to be careful, don't let the thread loop around, then you'll spend more time trying to untangle it than you did sewing it. Okay, so we're coming around now, and this is why I like to make the borders. I like to, some people put the borders on the quilt and then do the, I just lost the name of what I'm doing, applique. Okay, I like to do the applique on the borders before I put them on the quilt, because I don't want to have to handle all that big quilt. So now I put my needle securely there. I hope I left enough. Let me see. I might not, especially doing it in the camera, I might not have left enough. If you didn't quite leave enough, just loosen up a couple of the last threads and it'll give you some more space. Alright, then, now I'm going to take out the freezer paper. So first I have to use my fingernail, take the fabric off where I tucked it around the freezer paper, take it off of that. And then I'm going to use, let me see, yes, I'm going to use a little chopstick or a little bamboo skewer. I'm going to go in there and loosen the glue or the waxy coating that sticks it into place. Okay, so come down underneath. The tacky glue is what sticks the most, so I try just to use a little dot of that. Okay, then, because I didn't leave much space, I'm going to use my hemostats and come in here and pull that freezer paper out. Okay, come on, freezer paper. The only problem about the hemostats is then you have to unlock them. But it's nice. They're so strong. They can reach in and pull out that freezer paper. Yeah, this is... Sometimes it's better if you have a more open space. I always worry about how do you keep that smooth edge look. But you know what? You can push it back into place. It'll have a certain amount of memory in it. Yeah, I didn't leave nearly enough space to pull it out. So, I worried when I started up here. I meant to start over here. Let me grab this. Come on, paper. I want to make sure I don't rip threads. Okay, here we go. Got to get rough with it here. Anything I do to it at this point, I can undo it, so I'm not worried. If I rip the thread or rip some stitches out, I can fix it. I try never to get too upset when I'm working on quilting, because this is supposed to be something I enjoy. And if I make it too stressful, then I might as well be doing something I don't like. So, I pulled most of it out. Let's see. Yeah. So leave a bigger space. And you know, I don't like this, but you could take the freezer paper off before you sew it on. But I like trying to have a really sharp edge. So this is coming out in little pieces of paper. So make sure, please leave a bigger space. Aha. Okay. I think I feel like I'm doing surgery on this little cherry here. Okay, I think I got enough out. I got all these pieces here. So, alright, so now let me get my needle and thread and finish. Not quite finish, because I am going to stuff it. And the nice part about getting the paper out is it's much easier to stuff. So now I just take little scraps of batting that I've had left over. I try not to go and buy expensive stuffing. You just pull your batting apart, and polyester is best, but you can use whatever. Now I just take this stuffing and this skewer, and I just stuff it into the little cherry. And that's why keep your stitches small enough. You don't want any stuffing to poke out the sides. And you don't want to overstuff it. If you overstuff it, it will draw up your fabric too much. Don't overstuff it, don't understuff it. And see how I know that I'm doing good because the fabric around here is not bunched up. If I had added too much stuffing, the fabric would start bunching up around here. So now it's just finish stitching down, making sure it's still turned under. You don't want raw edges here. When you deal with little tiny pieces of fabric, if you didn't have something to turn under, you would end up having a raveled mess. You don't want it to ravel. Okay, so now I think I'm just about back to the start. Alright, there we go. And I've got a nice stuffed little cherry. Now I'm going to put the needle to the back. Oops. Make sure you're not hooked on anything. Pull the thread through, make a knot. Make a big enough knot that it's not going to come out. Now let me see if I brought down, let me see. Yep, okay, but I don't see the needle. I think I forgot to bring my embroidery needle down because I was going to show you. Then I take this and stitch it. Let me try to find a big enough hand needle. Boy, do I've been collecting needles for years. Okay, let's see. Nope, that's a beading needle. That will not be big enough. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Embroidery needles. How wonderful. Okay. Alright, so let me put a little bit of thread in this. Now, how are y'all about accidentally sticking yourself with needles? I've kind of gotten used to it. It freaks Mark out. He hates when I do it. I no longer show him the needle in my skin. And but it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I've gotten used to it. The only time it really bothers me is if I'm sewing and the needle hits this bone right there. That will bother me. And okay, here we go. Oh yeah, it's nice to have plenty of good light, that's for sure. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here right at the top of this finished cherry, and then I'm going to take a stitch, and I'm going to decide where is this little stem coming, and it's going to come right to here. Okay, so I just have to keep that in mind. If you want, you can always take and mark your stem, because the stems on cherries are pretty rigid, you know. Now, then I bring the needle, I bring the needle back up in between some, I didn't quite get in between enough, in between the previous threads. Okay, this just makes it look a little stiffer. So I'll bring this, now I'll come up, make another stitch, and then I come back up. Now I was thinking of doing some kind of decorative stitch on the machine to make the stems, but then I said, well, if I stuff the cherries, it's going to be hard to get the sewing machine right up into place. And see, I come back up in the middle of the threads, and then I make another stitch, and I come up in the middle like this. Whoops, I didn't quite go in the middle enough, so I'm just going to move it. There we go, making sure I'm in the thread. There, that looks a lot better. Then come over here, make another stitch. So this is kind of fun. It's a machine project with hand work, and I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I get tired of sitting at the machine. Sometimes I get tired of doing handwork. So this kind of is in the middle of that. Alright, come up there, and I think 2 more stitches will do it. Now I don't know exactly where on a cherry tree the little clumps of cherries come from, and I'm not worried about that. I'm just putting them here where it looks best. But if you want to be botanically correct, you do it. Go for it. So we all have to decide how each step, what we wish to leave behind, and what we think is important. So that's fine. But this is just the DNC floss, and now there's the little stem on this cherry, and the others will come from that same point here, go to here and to there. Alright, so that is how I'm doing this border. Now, you might ask me, Mary says she can take needle pain. Laura doesn't like the way it feels and says the S word. I don't blame you on that one, Laura. Mary says she can take the needle pain. She hates it when it bleeds while I'm trying to sew something. Oh, yes. Yes, I do keep Band-Aids, because you're right. If you're sewing something white and you bleed on it. Although you could say, look, blood, sweat, and tears for my art, you know. But anyway, so this is where I'm going. Then, when I quilt, I told Mark I might even cut out some cotton batting scraps and glue them, lightly glue them on the back, so when I start quilting, they'll have dimension. I haven't decided that yet, but I do want them. I'll quilt them along here. I guess what I'm going to do, I'm going to want to use dark green thread to quilt these. So I'm going to be changing threads when I do the quilting. Now, when I do quilting, how am I going to handle the applique leaves? How am I going to handle the cherries, especially since the cherries are so puffy? I'm going to carefully just echo quilt around, and I may not be able to get up in the middle. I'll just have to see. I could put a zipper foot on the machine to see if it'll allow me to get up there. If not, that's okay. I'll just come and do around here. I also do not like to quilt over top applique. So I always echo quilt around the applique so I don't damage the sewn edges. But then I do want to come back and leave veining. But that's going to be specific. I won't be running up on it from the edge. I will place the presser foot there and then quilt. So that I just tried to be very respectful of the applique and not damage it. So there we go. And I will, let me hang it up on the quilt so you can see how it looks. And let me hang this up and then you'll get an idea of what I'm wanting to happen with it. So, let me switch my camera. And boy, I had everything all moved around. Okay, switch my camera. Come on, cursor. I am going to have to figure a better way to find this cursor. Oh, I just found it. Look, takes me a while. I was hoping that by the time I got the OBS system that I would be so sophisticated, but it's not me. All right, so here is the border hanging. I just pinned it on the quilt, but you can get an idea of how I wanted it to look. And I used the same fabric from the leaves, half square triangle leaves in the quilt, and the same red from the Redbird. So it's just, I wanted it to enhance but not take over. You got that? Hi, Lucky Rose. Yes, Denise. Oh, it's so good to see you, Denise. Oh my gosh, that's great. Hi. Ah, it's so good to see everybody. So I'm really loving this quilt. Loving it. And yay. So, okay. Now what's next? Let me check my agenda. And didn't work on the hand embroidery at all, the 3D embroidery. And didn't work on the stencil quilt on the frame. I did carry up some backing fabric, but I haven't even put it on the frame yet. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've done the SeaScape quilt that we finished, the Sparrow Quilt, and the birdhouse. So, I think we will look... Oh, I need to go and check Debbie's picture she sent. Let me hold on just a second while I go check. Hold on just a second. I'll bring it up and see. Because I love it when she sends a special picture. Okay, come on. Let's see. Oh, I hope I find it too. Oh, Betty sent a... Betty, that is wonderful. Betty sent a picture of a Donna Jordan design in honor of her memory. Oh, Betty, I'm going to right now save it and we'll show it during show and tell. Betty, that is so wonderful. I was brokenhearted when I heard that she had passed. It was like, no. And I mean, she was just always there. And it's like, she can't be gone. It made me very sad. And I know a lot of people were very sad. So this is I'll put it in Betty's folder. Betty, thank you for that. That was a lovely idea. Okay. Let me see. Oh, and she even sent Let me copy this so I can give it copy hyperlink. Okay. Now, I thought Debbie sent something too, but I'm not seeing it. If I don't find Debbie's, let me see. Look carefully, Deb. Let me look very carefully. I've got my careful face on. Huh, I don't see Debbie's, and I thought she's told me she had one. I apologize for not finding it. And, okay, let me close that. All right, but I do have Betty's quilt, and, oh, how sweet. So let's go see our show and tell, and then we'll come back and I'll show you a little more information about the Dorset buttons and what Mark made that really helps, okay? We'll be right there. Oh, first, before I show you all of the show and tell, I'm going to show you what I'm thinking about for our next art quilt project. So let me bring those up first. And then, okay. Let me bring this picture up. Come on, picture. Let me bring this over. Put it right up here. I'm having just a little bit of a problem. Hold on. I should be able to get it. Oh. Let me see. Wouldn't you know? Okay. I'm going to try this. I'm going to get this. I'm not going to give up. You sent them to the group. Oh, okay. All right. I might have to then get it for next Sunday. I can't wait to see. All right. So I'll work on this one. Carry this over. Aha! I did it. It finally worked. Yay, Deb. I have to celebrate my accomplishments when I can. I saw this popped up. I was going through email and this popped up. I don't even know the name of the company, anything. But it was selling these pillows, and I kind of think it's probably not real. It's one of those fake little pop-ups things. But I said, I think I would like to see. This is an interesting thing, and maybe we could do quilts with this style. A small art quilt, and see how the fabric is folded and bunched and has little hand embroidery highlights and these cute little turtles that were made. It looked like they were made and sewed down. I thought that would be cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you some of the pictures. When I saw them, I grabbed these website shots because it gave me good ideas. This one, look at the, I'm noticing there are lines on the screen. I'm not sure why, but notice where there was supposed to be waves, how they've handled that. And it looks like it either has little tiny stitches or little tiny beads, beads on it. And then look at the little three-dimensional starfish on it. So if you have any little shells that you can kind of nick a little hole in, we could sew them on it. But these would be things that don't get washed. You could take and find turtles on fabric and cut them out, or fish on fabric and cut them out and stitch them down. But this got people ask me sometimes, where do you get your ideas? I just see something and go, ooh, I like that. So this fabric, I'm looking at all of this, and I think that it would be kind of appliqued on, but I love the idea of making dimensional fabric with folding and all of that. Look at this one. Isn't this cool? And you could even maybe print up your own fabric like I did with this, and then you could just stuff under shells and starfish that were printed on the fabric and make them stand out. But I have a feeling if you tried ordering these, they were ridiculously cheap, and I think it would just take your money. Now, look at this. So, it made me stop and think. These berries, you could glue berries on, you could do hand embroidered berries, you can stuff under birds, cut out birds pre-printed on fabric and stuff them. But I love the three-dimensional, this little birdhouse. So I'm going to tell you again, I'm pretty sure these are all fake. These are all AI generated. But it just kind of got me thinking that we just got through with the narrow strip quilt. It might be fun to do some of this and embellishing and padding and stuff work. And so look at this. So this is just, this is just to give you some ideas. That would have to be pre-printed. But I just thought these were so cute, these ideas. Ah, you did. Yeah, see, these probably are something. Like that looks like the book has real pages on it. And I think it's all AI, but that's okay. We can take, oh, isn't this one pretty? We can take ideas from this and try our own. What can we make happen? Look at this. So, oh, I want to go back with that. Isn't that one cute? If I could make something like that for my daughter who loves her poodle. Oh, just to let you know, Polly is doing beautifully. The neighbors haven't paid the vet bill. She is totally healed. The stitches, the staples have been removed. They've fenced in their yard really securely. But now look at this here you could put real rope. You could take an interesting fabric, maybe a fabric you manipulated. They have these new fabrics that are supposed to look like leather or whatever. Think outside the box. And if you take a different kind of fabric and you stuff underneath, you can take that shape and cut 3 layers of batting to make it really show like this. You can paint fabric to look really interesting. These shells, you can piece together with fabrics, a shell form, applique it down and stuff it. So, I'm kind of thinking, guys, what do you think? So, oh, Denise, we're so glad to see. Thank you. Well, that's what we're doing. We're trying to keep each other upbeat. And for now, when things are a wee bit scary and very frustrating. Look at this one. Highland cows are all the rage. Can you imagine, especially if you had a nice yarn collection, you could go to town with that. Look at this. So, in fact, you know what? It looks like that's my finger in that picture. So I was taking them right off the screen. Look at this owl. So think of all the different fabrics that you cut into the shape of feathers, and if you had some black vinyl, wouldn't that make really cool eyes, or clear vinyl to put over black fabric? So I'm just kind of thinking outside the box. And look at this. You could actually bead it with pearl beads. So look at this one. And it, you know, how could you make it look as three-dimensional as possible? So I thought I would show you that. I don't trust the company at all. I don't know their name. I'm not even gonna, you know, I wouldn't waste spending money to them because they all look artificially AI generated. But I like showing you different ideas so that we can, you know, say, hey, do you want to try something like this? As usual, I will be happy to draw up a pattern myself and send it to you by email or on the group. So just something to kind of keep in mind. All right. Well, Betty Meisner sent us, whoops, let me see if I can. She sent us, oh, here is the pattern. Oh, this is wonderful. She also sent a picture. What did I do with it? This is one of the Donna Jordan wonderful patterns. And so let me see. I think, let me close this. Let me put, I should have the link still copied. Let me see. I think this is it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the pattern. So thank you, Miss Betty. Now I have to go back and find the picture that she gave us. Okay, so, because I know I tried to save it, but I did something wrong. All right, then Charlene, the last thing she was working on was this. There, isn't that nice? Love that. And we loved her pictures from the church quilt show. That was wonderful. All right, let's see who is next. I don't have that many this time, but that's okay. We don't always have a bunch. Debbie sent us this amazing thing. And look at this. And this is that folded method. No sew, star. Just, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I will check again. Now, it's not this one, is it? I don't know if it's this one, but look at this. Isn't that amazing? I have tried to make these, but I didn't quite understand the directions, and so they got all off kilter very fast. Looks like Debbie knew what she was doing. So now, let's see. Okay. That is wonderful. And it looks like interfacing template so that she can maybe iron it onto the backing. That's beautiful. All right, now let's go back to show and tell. And Julie sent us these wonderful fun things that she's been working on, doing simple shapes, simple figures. It's so cute. And then look at this. It's a monthly, it's like Little Red Riding Hood. It is just so sweet. January, February, March, April. Isn't this sweet? That might be something fun to work on this year. I love these kind of things. Look at this. Isn't that lovely? September, October, November, December. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch as she finishes that. I love it. Thank you, Miss Julie. What joy. Okay, then let's see. I'm going to finish up with this show and tell and then go look for the two pictures. Betty Meisner's, her triangle quilt, and then Debbie's picture. So, let me see. Miss Mary sent pictures from, this is Miss Mary's narrow-lined seascape. And I love the birds and the sun. And she just uses, like only Miss Mary can. look at these cute fabrics that she uses. And then here is her blue heron down here. There's her wonderful dock, and she did with some beach and added bushes and flowers. I mean, look at this. I just love it. Way to go. So, and this is, she did this flower on the beach, her version of a salt marsh fleabane. And then look at this. Isn't that wonderful? And that is a, oh no, I think Green Adelaide. I forgot what she told me it was. Let me see if I can go back. A silver Banksia. I mean, is this cool or what? Okay, now let me go back to show and tell and see if there's anything else. Vicky has, oh, this one was so cute. I just love that. Hold on, let me overthink this. And she's practicing her hand embroidery, doing a beautiful job as well. Isn't that great? And then her next photo is her daffodil out in her yard. Isn't that just beautiful? Just beautiful. Okay, so now that I've done all of the photo albums, let me see. I'm going to take and put you back on the main camera while I try to find that email. So, let me come over here. Okay. I'm looking for it. I want to see what Miss Debbie... Ah, it's here. Yes. Okay. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, save as. And put it in Debbie's folder. Yes. Okay, I've got that. And let me go back and find Miss Betty's. Oh, I see. I made the mistake with Betty's. I clicked on the pattern. Oh, and she asks us to find the mistake. She's going to correct it tomorrow. So let me put this. I can't wait to take you back to show you these. What fun. Okay. Almost there, everybody. We're going to have it. Okay. I've got to name it. All right. So let me close this out and go back to desktop. Okay. And then bring up the, oh, yay. Okay, everybody. Now we're ready. Oh, Betty, seeing this now this way, it's even more beautiful. Okay, everybody, get ready to see Miss Betty's, her version of Donna Jordan's It's Only Triangles. Look at this. Now, she says there's a mistake here. I'm not seeing the mistake. This is grand. This is wonderful. I love this. Look at this. I love the colors, Miss Betty. Oh, it's wonderful. Well, I can't see the mistake. It just looks wonderful to me. She's gonna have to... Miss Jo is here. Hi, sweetie. Okay, now, so Betty, it is amazing. Very, very good. it looks like it wouldn't be quite that easy too. So good job, beautiful work. Okay, so now we're going to go to Debbie's and see what she's been working on. Oh my gosh. Is this yours, girlfriend? That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. She said she glued the triangles, then placed them and sewed them down. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Honey, that is exquisite. I hope you enter this into a show. That's just amazing. Way to go. Way to go. Boy, between Betty Meisner's quilt and now Debbie's, I am in awe. Brava, you ladies. You're something else. The ribbon border is so beautiful. You can just feel it flowing around the quilt. My gosh. Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. Well, I can't thank y'all enough. What a day this has been for show and tell. And here I was worried I didn't have much to show. I'm in awe. Both Miss Betty and Debbie. I'm in awe. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I tell you what, I don't know what to think. That's amazing. Marcia Hahn is here. Yay! I was telling him I had seen Marcia's and answered it back on our website. Oh, it's from the quilt show. Oh, okay, then what in the world? I've been missing this conversation. I apologize. It's my fault. I think I'm a little confused today, but that quilt definitely deserved to be in a quilt show. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's from the quilt show. Wow. So now it makes me wonder what did, because I thought it was something you had done. I'm not sure. I apologize. Well, I will figure it out. It's hard for me sometimes to do things on the fly because I'm easily confused. But anyway, okay. Well, I will find that out. But that was an amazing quilt, and now I know. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Okay. So the last thing to show you to wrap up our time together, we'll go back to the close-up detail camera, and I will show you again. That was an amazing quilt. Boy, talk about inspiration. So Marcia Hahn, it's okay that, if we can't do that particular one yet, because, ooh, that is beautiful. All right, so what I like to do when I do these amazing, I haven't cleaned up, so it's a little bit messy here, sorry. But, I took a class recently on Dorset buttons, and it just reminded me of how much I do like them. And here's the straightforward Dorset. This is a handout from Catherine Redford, CatherineRedford.com. I took the class from her. It was from the Mancuso Virtual Schoolhouse. Here is one of the shirtwaist. This was the hardest shirtwaist button, which I'm very proud that I actually did. Yay. This was another shirtwaist button here that I didn't finish. This is a good old Dorset button. Then here is a Dorset button I was trying to finish last week, but now where is the other? There was another. Oh, this is the hard one. This was the one that was so hard. I'm sorry. This is the shirtwaist or lace shirtwaist. This is the Austrian shirtwaist. So, Mark made a tool for me, and I'm going to show you how it's changing my life. Okay. I saw, in fact, our teacher was talking about this. And so, whoops, I forgot to get the tool out. The tool is this. It's a shuttle. And this shuttle, you can buy them, but they come from England, so you're going to pay a fortune for shipping. But what I'm going to do is start out, and the first thing I'm going to do is pull out 4 yards of this pearl cotton. Takes about 4 yards to make a Dorset button. Alright, so there was 4. I'll give it just a little extra. And now what I'm going to do is take, this is 2 little popsicle sticks glued together. Then he brought it in to have a little waist here. He smoothed the edges. And now I'm going to show you. I'm going to wind the 4 yards onto this shuttle. And you can use pretty much anything. We were thinking of using like a handle from a plastic spoon or knife. But you know what? He sanded this down so beautifully. It feels really nice in my hand. Now let me get this wound up really fast. But I'm going to show you where this comes in. You can only use it for the first half of making the button. Then you have to switch to a non-sharp embroidery needle. I hope I'm talking loud enough. But, oh, it's from Barbara Harrington. Well, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't embarrass you, Miss Deborah, by jumping to the gun. I thought you were talking about doing something. That's why I thought, boy, is that pretty. All right, I'm almost. It takes a while to wind up 4 yards. Okay, almost done. Almost. I'm trying to do it off camera so I don't make you nauseous. So, okay. Come on, almost. Here we're coming. Almost done. But I promise you, the time it takes to wind this up is worth it. Alright, so here we are. Here's the end. It's amazing to me how thread can get tangled up just hanging around. Alright, let me get this knot out. And you know, I was telling y'all how I wanted to work on my bobbin lace, and paper beads, but you know what? Honest to goodness, I haven't had time. And then this week I need to go and buy my garden flowers for this season. So, I don't know, we'll see. It's hard when spring gets here because there's so many things that need doing outside. Alright, so I just wrap it twice, then wrap it twice again, and there we go. Now, what is nice about this shuttle? Okay. And I'm just going to tuck this down here. Is I put the thread, I've tied the thread on the ring, put the thread back over my fingers. Then I just put this through the hoop, and when I pull it, it makes the overcast stitch or the buttonhole stitch. So it just makes it very simple. And instead of having it on a needle and having to drag a long 4 yards through, you just use this cute little shuttle. And since you have to do this overcast stitch 96 times, it really makes it a lot faster. And I was telling him, so see, if the string is this way, when I bring this through the middle and I pull it this way, I'm making sure that it creates that loop. And this is called the overcast or buttonhole, whichever way you want to refer to it. But isn't that wonderful? Who knew that popsicle sticks could be so handy? I mean, this is great. And it also helps me get a nice tight wrap on the ring. And don't forget, Dorset buttons were around for hundreds of years, maybe longer. It was a way to take a circle cut of a sheep's horn, and turn it into buttons, because metal buttons, bone buttons, turtle shell buttons were all extremely expensive. And they had sheep, and they had sheep horns that would fall off. And they could make these rings. Then they had the wool to make the fine thread. And here is one I was working on yesterday, and I'm now doing the wrapping part. And there was one thing I did want to show you. Again, you see how this thread is, whoops, here's the front. Okay, and so the thread is going down right here between these two. So if this needle were threaded with that thread, which it's not, then I would come back up here. Now let me bring you a little closer so I can try to show this to you. Alright, so the thread went down this needle. So once you get the edges wrapped, then you put spokes on, and you use think of the hands on a clock face to do the wraps. Then you put a couple little stitches going from here all the way to there to pull all these spokes together in the center. Then you start this stitch. It's going to wind its way out. So the last stitch went down this way. So if this were threaded with that thread, you would say 1, 2, you'd come up here, right, like this. Then you go back down in this one. What you're doing is you're taking 2 steps forward, 1 back, and in doing that you're wrapping each of these spokes with the thread. And this is what helps make a very sturdy button. And then that could be sewn. Now this is awfully big for a button. You can go smaller. I have one size smaller. Some of the ladies do tiny buttons, but not me. But you can take any size ring. This would be more of a normal size button. And it's just, to me, it's a lot of fun. It's an art from history. When the Industrial Revolution came to England, all the people, okay, I'll give you another example. An average woman, to make money, made 72 of these buttons per day. And then she would earn 3 shillings. Mark looked up to see what 3 shillings is. It's the equivalent of a nickel. So for 15 cents in the 1800s, she would make 72 buttons and ended up earning 3 nickels. Now that doesn't sound like much to us, but for her family, it meant that they could actually eat and pay bills, because they could make a good living. What they ended up is children helping make the buttons, the husband either making the buttons or handling the sales of them, and the whole family could be lifted out of poverty by making Dorset buttons. It really led to a lot of people working their way up the financial ladder. Then unfortunately, the Industrial Revolution came, and when that happened, buttons could be made cheaper and faster in a factory, and Dorset buttons kind of disappeared. But I like to make them And then I can either make a necklace with them, or you can put them on a project, or I will make brooches with them. I have some that are larger than this. You can put beads on them. You can use different colors. Like this, I'll do the weaving around the spokes with pink. So it just gives it a little something. And I'm helping promote the ancient hand arts, which to me is so important. I don't want to lose these wonderful things, because this is, women were really helping their families, the economy, and I want, their kind of skills to be passed on. So I think that's pretty special, and I hope you agree. And if you want to learn anything more, about Dorset buttons, feel free to ask, because this is all the kind of stuff that makes my life fun. And I dearly, dearly love it. All right. So I think we're about at the end today, and I thank you for sticking with me. You are wonderful. Barbara Harrington did that beautiful quilt. Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, you're using the plastic rings. Now, Mary, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. They could be curtain rings, when you make certain kinds of curtains. Look around. In fact, I just got some from Temu, and for 60 rings for $3 and something. When they come in, I'll see what kind of quality. I love these black ones that I had, and I got them from a maker on Etsy, and I think that they printed them with a 3D printer, but they're no longer available. So I had to start looking elsewhere. Where can I find the rings? But rings in a little pearl cotton or DMC floss, you've got a little hobby, and you can sit quietly and have fun making them. And I love putting beadwork in them. And sometimes you have to get a thinner thread if you're going to put a little seed bead, or look for the size 8 beads, and they usually will fit on a pretty good needle. All right, so you're so smart. Oh, you plan on putting your buttons on a hand-knitted sweater in the making. That's wonderful for that. Have a nice fiber button on it. That is perfect. I was thinking a woman at the latest retreat had a shirt on that had the little yo-yos sewn going across the shoulder and down the back. I'm thinking these might be cool too. So it'd be fun to find little ways to use them. And I think that's grand. And you can put them on your quilts even. So whatever makes you happy. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And we'll see. I can't promise exactly what I'm going to have done for next week. It may have to be a surprise. But I will see you soon. Have a great week, everyone. It means so much to spend this time with you. Take good care. Bye-bye.